Hello everyone. Alright, I'm a little bit nervous, but I believe that this is the best thing to do. I think it's going to help the most people, and I think it's the right thing to do. So I'm doing it. Alright, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Perrin Robinson. I'm 23 years old. I am a musician, I'm a worship leader, I'm a leader in my church. I am a son, I am a brother, I'm a friend, and I am gay. Being gay is not a choice that I have made. I never wanted to be gay. I never decided to be gay. It's just the way that I am. I think when I was about 15 or 16 years old is when I first began to realize that I was different and that the way I thought and felt was the same way that other gay men thought and felt. And for a long time I tried to change myself. I didn't want to be gay, so I tried to be normal. I tried to be straight. I tried very hard. I would like to clarify what it means to be gay. To be gay simply means that you are attracted to your same sex or your same gender, as opposed to the opposite sex, which most people are attracted to. That's all it means. So I desire a romantic, intimate relationship with a man and not a woman. And that desire really comes from wanting to be with somebody that you love and that you have the capacity to fall in love with. It's not about sex. Being gay does not mean having gay sex. It does not mean that I become part of any lifestyle. It does not mean that I am promiscuous. It does not mean that I'm a pedophile. It does not mean that I'm going to try to pursue relationships with my straight friends or that I'm going to try to confuse anybody else about their own desires. But one of the things I want to say is that being gay is really hard, especially being gay and Christian, because not only is being gay hard in and of itself because you're instantly a minority, but you also have a moral framework that many people say opposes the way you are. It's really hard when you pretend that you like and are attracted to girls just so you can fit in with the other guys and have conversations with them. And it sucks when you have to lie to people about how you think and feel because you're afraid of what they'll say if they actually find out what you think and feel. It sucks when you date girls and you feel absolutely nothing special even though everyone else thinks that you are in love with them. And it sucks not being able to be honest with people because you worry that they won't want to be your friend anymore. That's really hard. It used to be very, very hard for me to tell anybody about this. But when I was about 16 or 17, I told one friend over email. And from there I was able to tell a few more friends over email. And eventually by the time I got to college, I could talk about it in person with people. So it's gotten easier. I was very afraid of being judged by everyone. But the more people that I told, the easier it became to tell. And some people had amazing responses that were very helpful, very warm and friendly. I remember one friend who, when I told him, we were sitting right next to each other on a couch, and I don't remember exactly the words he said, but it was along the lines of, "It doesn't matter, I'm always going to be your friend, it's okay." And reactions like that have been so helpful for me being honest with myself and just knowing that I'm loved. So I did not really fully come out to myself until July 5th of this year. Before then, I knew that I was struggling with my sexual orientation, but I thought maybe I was just bisexual and confused, or maybe I was bisexual and could change myself or focus on just liking women. But this summer I really began to wrestle deeply with my own feelings and my own attractions, and finally came to terms with being gay, and it was really hard and different from what I was expecting. I got physically sick the day I said I'm gay out loud for the first time. I couldn't sleep that night. I was up for hours reading and writing and singing and watching videos of other people coming out and praying. It was a very emotionally intense night for me. But it's been so much better since then. Being able to be honest about what you're thinking and feeling is huge. It's very freeing. It's also very relieving to be able to put a name to it, instead of being confused all the time like I had been, like why am I not feeling this way that I should be feeling, and why am I feeling these other things that I shouldn't be feeling, to just calmly accept that I am gay. Many people think that homosexuality is caused by abusive or neglective fathers, or overprotective mothers, or some sort of like sexual abuse in childhood. That was part of a theory that came out a long time ago that wasn't really based on much, but the church really ran with it. Nothing like that has ever happened to me. I've never been abused or molested or neglected in any way. I have an amazing relationship with both of my parents, and I always have. My mom is not overbearing or overprotective. My dad and I are very close, and we have been for a long time, and I've never doubted that they've loved me. They've never mistreated me in any way. That theory doesn't work for me, and there are tons and tons of other gay people that have had the same experience I have. And there are also tons and tons of straight people who were abused and neglected and are still straight. There hasn't been any evidence to back up that theory at all. So if you were thinking that caused it, don't. So science has not really found why people are gay yet. They've been trying, there have been a lot of theories. The most promising direction right now is hormones in the womb, but we still don't know. So for a lot of gay people who believe that same-sex relationships are sinful, they either choose to enter into what is known as a mixed orientation marriage. They may or may not be out while they're in that marriage, but while they have same-sex attractions, they're still married to somebody of the opposite sex. Sometimes these marriages are great, but that is very rare. Most of the time these marriages are very difficult on both of the partners involved, and there is about a 7-year window where after you get married it's like a honeymoon phase and things are going very well, and you have kids and you're in love with each other, and after 7 years the gay partner becomes very aware of their lack of feelings for their spouse and their feelings for their same sex, and a lot of problems happen in those types of marriages. That's not something that I want for myself. The other option is celibacy, and celibacy is what is recommended now for most Christians who are gay, by people who believe same-sex relationships are sinful. I understand and respect why that is recommended, but I also know that it is very, very lonely and discouraging to hear that as your prognosis, that you are gay because of nothing you did. Therefore, you either need to enter into a relationship where you are not happy and you might make your spouse not happy, or stay lonely and do not attach yourself to anyone in any romantic way. Neither of those have a great outlook. So if churches are going to ask that gay people stay celibate, they have to be able to provide the support that those people need. They have to be there to talk through things with them and to support them. They have to make themselves be the kinds of places where gay people feel safe talking about and wrestling through these things. You may have heard of ex-gay therapy or reparative therapy or sexual orientation change. This was much more popular about 10-15 years ago. Thankfully it is declining as people are being more honest and more people are finding out that when people claim to be ex-gay, it is usually just that they have stopped engaging in same-sex sexual acts or same-sex relationships. Almost never does it mean that somebody's attractions actually change. That almost never happens. So I am not capable of saying that God cannot do that in somebody's life. So far, people's sexual orientation most of the time does not seem to change as much and as hard as they try. I tried for many years to change my own. People have tried in a much more organized way than I have. They have prayed and prayed and tried for years and years and years, and they attach their belief in a loving God to their belief that because this is sin, God will be able to change them and bring them out of it, and it doesn't happen, and then they question their faith in God. It leads to a lot of depression, sometimes suicidal thoughts. It's very serious, and telling somebody to try to change can be very detrimental to their well-being and to their relationship with God. I do not recommend it. When I was wrestling with my orientation as a teenager, there was not a whole lot the church could help me with. I knew that most people believe same-sex relationships were wrong. I knew that other people didn't. But there was and has been a real lack of education and a strong hold on misconceptions that have kept the church from being effective in helping people with this and reaching out to people that are gay. While I don't feel that the church damaged or hurt me in any way, it wasn't much of a help either. And I know that there are many people that have been damaged and hurt and pushed away from and rejected by churches and by Christians. I think the church is doing a good job coming to terms with understanding that there are gay people, and that trying to change the orientation doesn't really work, and better approaches are called for. The bigger issue here now that the church is facing is whether or not same-sex relationships that are committed, loving, and monogamous are inherently sinful. And I think Christians are going to continue to disagree on this for a long time. We're going to have to get through this as a church, understanding that people are going to disagree about this. I've done a lot of research theologically and psychologically on the morality of same-sex relationships. And there's a lot of good arguments, both for and against them, and a lot of bad arguments, both for and against them. Both sides are highly concerned with morality and doing what God has said is best for people. As you hear different people's arguments, please don't dismiss the other side as just trying to justify their feelings or just trying to justify what is normal to them. Also remember that when you read the Bible, you are approaching it through your own lenses of the society and the culture you grew up in and your own personal experiences. And it's difficult for all of us to remove those lenses, to study something objectively and unbiased. So right now, I understand both sides of this argument from a theological perspective, and I can't condemn anyone for coming down on either side. But the church needs to understand that gay people are going to have to make their own decision about whether or not they believe same-sex relationships are inherently sinful. So through all of this, it's been very helpful to have friends and family that I can talk to, that have told me they're never going to leave me or reject me, that have told me that they're always going to love me and be there for me, whether or not they agree with all the views I have. Just knowing that they're never going to stop loving me or love me any less is nice. I've also found that sharing my story has been really helpful both for myself and for other people. There are people that have been able to come out to me about things they're struggling with because I've shared my story with them. So if you're one of those people, I'm really proud of you. If you want to learn more about this, I really recommend this book. It's by Justin Lee. It's called Torn. He takes you through his story and explains his views and his desire to help the church through this and help equip the church to help gay people better. It's almost exactly the same as my story. So if you want to know more about me, read this book or talk to me. Another one is Matthew Vine's God and the Gay Christian. This one just came out a few months ago. This book is better for if you are interested in understanding in a very in-depth way, theologically, why people believe same-sex relationships are okay. So if you feel like you don't have a good grasp on that argument, I recommend this book. So through all this, I've learned that it is very important to talk to people about what you're struggling with, what you're wrestling with, what your doubts are. So whatever you're going through, talk to somebody about it, please. And also make yourself the kind of person that somebody else feels comfortable talking to. That is so important. I can't stress that enough. There's people everywhere that are struggling with their sexual orientation, pornography, their body image, their relationship with food, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, addictions to all sorts of things. There's people struggling everywhere, so please make yourself the kind of person that someone feels that they can talk to about their struggle, because that's the biggest thing in helping somebody. It's been huge for me. So go out and do that. Help somebody. And remember that no matter what you're going through, God loves you so much. And there are people around you that love you so much too. You can't do anything that's going to make God love you any more or less, and hold on to that. Alright, thank you very much for watching my video. If you and I are close and I have not been able to talk to you about this, I apologize for that, but I'm hoping that this video opens up the door for conversations with a lot of people. So please, if you have questions or want to know more or are concerned about me or something, please talk to me. I would love to talk with you about this, especially if you go to my church. I'm sorry if I was not able to talk to you before this video came out. And I just wanted everyone to know, as far as my future goes, I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I'm still learning. I have a long ways to go, but I am definitely committed to doing what I believe God wants for me and what God says is best. So, thanks.